is tomorrow. So if you haven't already gotten your taxes done, you are going to want to listen up. Anyone who hasn't filed yet needs to be careful to avoid some costly mistakes. And joining us this morning with some helpful recommendations is local financial professional Kane Nakata. Good morning, Kane.
Morning, Mia. Thank you for having me.
As when we're thinking about filing our taxes, and again, we have one more day to try and get this done. I know there have been some changes in the last year. So as what should people be paying attention to?
I think one of the things that people need to be aware of, if they got a payment for the child tax credit in 2021, they can't go ahead and reclaim that deduction, right? Because if they already got paid, you can't deduct it. And for some people, unfortunately, if they got a big pay increase, they may have to pay some of that credit back. Also, for married couples, don't forget your standard deduction is going to be $25,100, and for singles or individuals, it's going to be $12,550. Outside of that, if people, if you gave to charities and things of that nature, please don't forget to take advantage of that deduction, which is $300 for individuals and up to $600 for married couples.
I know for those who haven't filed yet, we're kind of pushing this deadline here. So what happens if we can't make the deadline?
Well, if you can't make the deadline and complete your taxes, don't forget, go ahead and file an extension. That extension will at least allow you another 6 months to go ahead and finish up your taxes. But don't forget, when you file that extension, you still have to make that payment for what you believe that your taxes are going to actually be.
And, oftentimes I think we're all like this when we're rushing, even just to get out of the door, out the house in the morning. Sometimes we're forgetting things. That's when we make mistakes. So if we are rushing to try and get these done, what are some mistakes that we should be careful to avoid?
I think some of the big ones is, if you are going to file an extension, try not to underpay, right? If you don't pay enough towards your taxes, you're going to end up being hit with, some penalties, some late fees. And when you add those all up, it can be pretty substantial for certain individuals. Also, try to make sure that you don't, at the same time, overpay by too much, right? Because that's dollars that'll be out of your pocket.
As when we're looking at filing electronically or maybe going the old school way and sending papers in, what would you recommend in this situation now for these late filers?
Definitely, I would do electronic filing, right? Number one, by doing the electronic filing, it helps us minimize errors, right? Because it sends us through the boxes. We have to put in the answers. It shows us the things that we have to submit in. More importantly, it'll move through the system a lot quicker, right? Through the paper processing, it takes a lot longer. We tend to make a lot more mistakes. For the majority of people, the best option would probably be to do electric filing.
Let's talk about overpaying. Another thing, when we're rushing to get things submitted, we might be missing out on some ways we can save some money. Do you have any tips on that?
I think one of the big things, right, is sometimes people forget that, if we contribute money into a retirement plan, that helps lower our taxable income. What also does, it puts a little extra dollars in our pocket when we retire. So there you have a double benefit. And I think a lot of times people are fearful if they take or make a contribution to their retirement plan, that if they put in $1, they're losing $1. And the answer is absolutely not, because remember, Uncle Sam is actually helping you fund your retirement plan, if you do it in the right way.
Again, these are people who have, of course, waited until the very last minute. So for those of us who have waited, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
Well, if you're, waiting to the last moment, don't panic. Just make sure you get your extension in time, make that payment. And then we got another 6 months to go, right? When we stress out, we tend to make poor decisions, or, we make errors. And sometimes you just got to take a breath, take a step back, and go ahead and finish it up in the way that, is going to be best for us.
Those are some great recommendations. Thank you so much, Kane.
Thank you for having me.
We'll have a full list of all these recommendations that Kane just went over on our website, kitv.com, in just a little bit.
I know, Leah, don't at me. She's saying, again, these are people that waited till the last minute. Yeah, we know. And again, the deadline for filing those federal income tax returns this year is tomorrow, Monday, April 18th. And